For real.
What's up, people? Annabelle here. You're watching Dreams to Reality podcast. Today is a very special a very special show. It is our 1 year anniversary. It is episode 42, and our guest is a mixed martial artist and also a fitness trainer. Please help me welcome Supreme Rudy Perez. Yeah. Rudy, how's it going, brother?
It's going good, man. Thank you for having me on your 1 year anniversary show, bro. It's an honor.
Yes, sir. It's been a long journey, but you're here, and I think you said it right before we hit record on these cameras.
Yeah.
That you manifested this.
Oh yeah, 100%.
How so? Explain it.
Well, you know what's crazy, bro, is I used to just always think to myself, like, man, you know, when I become a fighter, I want to be able to change the world. Like when I become a pro fighter, because I'm a fighter, obviously, but when I become a pro fighter and I'm on a bigger platform, you know, I want people to look at me like, man, I've gone through things, and I know that guy's gone through things, and I know I could be a better person. I just want to be able to help people, bro. That's honestly something that I've always wanted to do. And, you know, I used to always think to myself, man, one day I'm going to be able to share my story. And it's going to help people out some way, somehow.
Yeah. You know? I mean, the reason why you're here today on the Dreams to Reality podcast is because I heard your story for the first time when you came out on Tony Cortez show on the Dreams to Reality network. I Burnt the Ships. You were his guest on his last show, and you shared a very intimate story of your life that I think a lot of people, gain some insight, some wisdom, and hopefully it will help them in their life. Because I think life is not all sunshine and rainbows all the time. You know, there's darkness, but there's also beauty to it. And I think the hard part is for people when there's tough stuff going on in their life to get out of that darkness, and hopefully all the information and stuff that we put out can help people, like you said. So I did want to find out a little bit more about your story, as far as who Supreme Rudy Perez is. Because you did touch on you grew up in San Bernardino, which is the murder capital of California. And I think for some time it was like pretty up there as far as crime. It's gone down a little bit. It's still a pretty rough neighborhood. But you said you grew up in two different areas. You grew up in San Bernardino, but also in San Jose. Is that correct? Yes,
the Bay Area. Yeah.
Okay. So why were you bouncing around from the two locations?
Well, my mom and dad, they met in the Bay Area.
Oh, okay.
And my mom and dad, they obviously went their different ways. My mom ended up moving out here. Okay. My mom's originally from out here. She's from South Central LA.
Okay.
But and my dad's from San Jose. But my grandparents and stuff, they moved out there. And so my mom and dad were back and forth because they weren't together,
I see.
And so I was back and forth, you know what I'm saying? With my mom and then my dad. And then my dad wanted just to like take care of me. I don't know. I'm not going to speak on their business because I'm not too sure what was really going on. But, I had to stay with my dad for quite some time. And so he raised me.
Okay.
Yeah.
In San Jose?
In San Jose, California. On the east side,
There you go.
Yeah.
How old were you when you came back out here to San Bernardino?
I think I was like in seventh grade. I was probably like 13 years old, maybe.
Okay.
I don't really remember.
So you're already like a teenager.
A teenager, yeah, when I came back.
Your childhood, you could say you grew up in San Jose.
Yeah, my childhood, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And I mean, the reason why I bring this up is because I did want to touch on, being raised in a single parent household, because a lot of people, either grew up without a father or without a mother or with either, And I truly do believe that not having both parents in your life will affect your development, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, especially I think for men, because men are required to do a lot, and obviously women as well. But as far as being a provider, being a leader, being, a father figure, being someone that, you can be proud of, it's a lot of work. And if you don't have any good role model on both sides, it can be a little tricky, and it can lead you down some some dark avenues.
Yeah.
And from the sound of it, looks like you went down a couple of dark avenues, man.
Yeah, for sure.
So you were saying, you know, that you had some experience with the law as a kid and as a teenager, and I want to get into that, you know, because hopefully it can maybe prevent some young kids out there from doing the same stuff. So why don't you get into it, man? Tell me a little bit about, you know, growing up, how that was, and what led you to get into these, you know, situations that led to you, you know, going to juvie.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure, man. Well, so just, you know, first and foremost, obviously, like we said, I'm originally from San Bernardino. That's where I was born. I was back and forth with my parents. Grew up in San Jose with my dad on the east side. So it was already a rough time for me.
I don't know, San Jose. Is San Jose like a gangster?
I mean, yeah, you know, you got like, you know, the two different sides, you know, you got the northerners, you got the southerners, all that out there, you know what I mean?
Okay.
But one thing about me was I stayed away from the gangbanging.
Okay.
That's for sure. But there was always trouble out there. Like, people would find out that I was from Southern California and they would want to like try to jump me, or there was
they'll hit you up.
They would threaten me about stabbing me because I'm from San Bernardino, like, and me, like, you know, if somebody would come and ask me, like, hey, where you from? I'd just be like, I'm from San Bernardino, like, you know.
They think you're like gangbanging.
Yeah, they think I'm gangbanging.
You're like,
but
no,
like,
I'm literally just from the city.
Yeah, you know, you know, that, you know, elementary school, middle school, but also I was in sports, so I try to, you know, stay away from the trouble. I mean, of course, I got school fights, things like that. Fast forward all the way to about 6th through like 8th grade into my high school years. You know, I started smoking weed and drinking and partying with friends. How old were you? Oh man, I think when I started smoking, I was probably like 14 years old.
Damn, you were young.
Yeah, I started smoking, and that's when we were smoking stress then.
Yeah, it was probably like oregano or some shit.
For real, yeah.
But you know, and this is, how old are you, by the way?
I'm 27.
27.
Yeah.
So at this time, you're 14 years old. You're smoking weed, and it probably wasn't legal back then, right?
Nah, heck no. Nah, hell no.
So you're doing illegal activities as a minor.
Yeah. Drinking too.
Is it because you were looking to just hang out with these people and it just happened, or were you nobody like looked after you and you just kind of did your own thing? What do you think led to that?
Okay, so when I was with my dad, I was well disciplined.
Yeah.
You know, my dad, you know, taught me how to shake people's hands, look at them in the eyes, and you know, we would you know, I had a lot of structure when I was with my father. Girls and all that didn't matter to me. I was all into sports. You know, I was like being the alpha male at a very young age. Like, I just wanted to be tough, you know? But when I came down here, you know, I was also going through like a lot of anger because my dad would, you know, like hit me, things like that. And, you know, when I would get disciplined, like I would obviously get spanked, things like that, you know? So, when I came down here, my mom just kind of, it was a freebie, you know? And that's where I started to, you know, any little avenue that I could take, I would just be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do that. Cause I never done this before. Like, I never got to hang out with girls, never got to, you know, like do anything, hang out with my friends. I mean, I did, you know, I would stay the night at my buddy's house, but even then, like, I would just like sneak around and like go and get into trouble, as you should. I mean, as a kid, you know, have fun, but man, we would do some dumb stuff as kids, you know. But yeah, like I said, when I moved down here, when I came back down here, my mom just kind of was like, let me do my thing, you know. I started listening to rap music, the cuss words, playing San Andreas, and getting all into trouble, you know, and going to house parties. That was like the main thing that was getting me into trouble, was going to house parties. Okay. And one day, I go to school. I think it was on a Friday. Yeah, it was actually a Friday. Damn, it's crazy I even remember this. It was a Friday, and we had like a big old event at the school. And then I had got into it with some teachers. Yeah. And there was like a dog on campus, like a security dog on campus.
Like a sniffing dog or whatever?
Yeah, like a sniffing dog. I don't know what it was. Yeah. But I remembered that dog was coming at me, and I full-fledged kicked the dog.
Oh, shit. And it was a police dog?
I don't know if it was a security dog, police dog, I don't know.
Okay.
But the little guy,
if you kick a police dog, that's assault on a police officer.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't think it was a police officer because damn, dude, like the way it came at me though, bro, I was like, you know, they ducked their heads down, and he was a pretty big dog, so I was like, nah, heck no, boom, kick the dog, and then one of the teachers was like, hey, you little mother effer, whoop. And then I just kind of was like, what? Like, what do you want to do? So I'm over here getting into it with teachers. I take off running, security guards grab me, and then, you know, they end up taking me to the office. Cops come, and they got me for, I had brass knuckles on me, and the cop was like, I'm going to keep these.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to say his name, but he was like, I'm going to keep these. These look really nice. And
was he messing with you, or did he actually
No,
keep them?
he literally kept them, and he's like,
oh my God.
He's like, I'm going to give you animal cruelty.
So he charged you with animal cruelty, and that's what led you to.
That's what led me to Juvenile Hall, and I had a party that I was hosting, a house party that I was hosting that Saturday.
Okay, that's crazy.
So I didn't even make it to my own party.
What was juvie like? How long did you go for, and what was that experience like? Was it something that you were scared, or were you kind of like, just what was your internal dialogue at that time? Because you're how old again at this time?
At this time already, I'm probably like at like 16, 15, 16 years old at the time already.
Yeah. So what's going through your mind, going into juvie, and what was that experience like?
So before Supreme ever came around, I actually used to go by Monster.
Okay.
And so the reason why was because I was always getting into fights. Mind you, I was already fighting at a young age.
Okay, so you're already like a trained mixed martial artist at this point.
Yes, and the level that I fought at was like past black belt. So like I was already at that level where I was representing the gym.
Oh, that's right. You did mention on I Burnt the Ships that you trained under Kung Lee, right? He's in San Jose.
Yeah, San Jose, yeah.
Yeah, that dude's an amazing striker. I remember when he used to fight with Strike Force. And I just remember him from like the movies and stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize he was actual like a really high level striker until I actually saw him, fight.
Oh yeah.
I always thought he was just like an actor that like like Jet Li and like all those people. They're just like actors that fight.
Yeah.
But there's actors that are like amazing mixed martial artists.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like, what's that one guy's name from Spawn? Michael J. White.
Oh yeah,
that dude's an amazing mixed martial artist. Like Chuck
Norris is
pretty damn good.
Chuck Norris is tight.
He was like back in like the Bruce Lee days where a lot of the mixed it wasn't mixed martial arts, it was just martial arts.
Yeah.
And they took a lot of the art stuff too seriously, where it wasn't really like as effective.
Right.
But they still knew how to strike really, really well. They knew how to throw punches, how to throw kicks, but it was a little too fancy. Now you try to do some of those moves in the UFC, you're gonna get knocked out, choked out.
Yeah, for real.
It's a different age nowadays when it comes to fighting, but these guys were legends in their time.
Yeah.
And they definitely taught a lot of skills to young fighters like yourself. So I'm sure you learned a lot under Kung Lee. So now you're back here, you're a trained freaking athlete, you're a freaking monster, you're getting into fights left and right.
Yeah.
And now you kick a dog and you end up going to
Juvenile Hall.
So you have this reputation of being like a monster. So I'm sure that preceded you going into juvenile. So go ahead and tell me what were your thoughts going in there?
So when I went into Juvenile Hall, man, I remember they took me in. And what's crazy is like I remember being not intimidated, but there was like a guy that was like cleaning outside of the Juvenile Hall. So like they're like, you're pulling into the Juvenile Hall, right? You make a right, you go around to where the booking is.
Yeah.
And there's a guy cleaning, and he stops cleaning, and he just stares at me. I'm in the backseat of the car, and he's just staring at me, like, oh yeah, like you're in for it type look. You know what I mean? And so I just kind of look. Yeah, I'm like have my hands behind my back. I'm sitting on this hard seat in the back of the cop car, and I'm just like, damn, bro, like this guy probably sees so many kids come through here,
Yeah.
And then I remember we go to booking, and they're patting me down. They're like, you better not have nothing else on you, this and that. Oh, hey, officer, I'm not gonna say his name again. I'm not gonna mention no names, but he goes, hey, let me see, what's he in here for? Oh, animal cruelty. Well, guess what? There's kids in here that don't like kids like you that hit animals. Yeah. So, just know that you might get into some trouble. Like they're telling me all these things in my head though. I'm like Mike Tyson, like, yeah, let one of these kids try. Like you guys about to find out one of these kids gonna get kicked in the head. Like don't play with me, And so, but deep down inside, I was like, dang, what something bad can happen here, you know?
Yeah, it's different. Fighting in the streets and fighting in prison, because sometimes you're dealing with people that have nothing to lose in prison.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and they might be looking at a life sentence. You're there for 2 months. They're there for their whole life.
Yeah.
And they're not scared to use weapons, you know.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely not.
They will stab you. They will kill you.
Yeah.
You know, it's very different once you're in the prison system.
Yeah.
And I try to explain this to people that there is worlds within our world that we're not even aware of. And the prison system in general is a whole nother world that people don't even know exist. And it's real. And unfortunately, anybody, you know, something can happen. You could be living 100% perfectly good life, and then something happens and you end up in prison.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that movie called Shot Caller?
No, I haven't.
Oh, it's such a great movie. But essentially, this guy's like a really, really high level attorney, and he's super successful. You know, he's making millions. He's got a great law practice. He goes out with his wife and his business partner and his wife to dinner, and they start drinking and stuff. And, you know, they're just having a great time celebrating some deal that they close. And on the way home, he crashes and his partner dies. And he was drunk. So he gets like 25 years or something like that.
What?
Yeah, for second degree murder or manslaughter. I can't remember.
Yeah, manslaughter or something.
And then once he gets into prison, he's a white guy. So people don't know that there's politics within the prison system.
Yeah.
And it's very, very racially segregated.
Yeah.
Depending on what state you live in and all of that. Some states are a little bit more strict than others.
Yeah.
But there's rules and there's certain protocols that you have to follow in prison to stay alive. You know, if you don't follow their rules and their procedures and all that, like, they will take you out, you know? So you have to almost abide by these rules. And the guy ended up becoming like the head guy of the what's it called? Not the skinheads, the white supremacist.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's a crazy movie. But the reason why I bring it up is because you might go to jail for something small and end up getting in a fight in there, and you just keep on racking up more time, and then you're stuck in prison for the rest of your life, you know, out of one simple mistake. So if you can prevent from going to jail at any expense, you know, make sure you don't end up in prison or in jail.
Yeah, for sure.
I watched this this YouTube channel called 23andOne, where this guy's interviews people that went to the prison system.
Oh, really? Okay.
And he interviewed this guy that went to Juvenile Hall in Florida, and they talk about like juvenile is like way worse than the actual prison system, because they beat the shit out of these kids. Like the correction officers like just treat them like trash. You know, they're getting extorted by like the bigger thugs and stuff. All the kids that go in there get extorted, you know, because they're small and weak. And it's just really, really jacked up. You know, as soon as you show up, they have what's called a TOH, test of heart. So you have to fight. And as soon as you get there,
that's crazy.
As soon as you show up to Juvenile Hall and, you know, you get checked in and everything, they put you in a pod. You're going to get hit up by a couple of people, and you have to fight. And if you don't fight, then they're just going to extort you. They're going to take advantage of you. They're going to beat the shit at you all the time. Yeah. But if you fight back and you show that, okay, this guy can handle his own, you know, this is someone you don't want to mess with, then you'll be all right, you know. But this is in Florida, so I have no idea what the politics and how it is in juvenile. This was in California, right?
Yeah, this was in California. This was in San Bernardino.
Oh shit! So tell me what that experience was like.
So like I said, you know, the cops are already trying to be it's mad intimidating, you know. And then there was like not one nice person in there, obviously. You know what I mean? Like even the girl cops, like I remember some of them being super pretty, but they were like super harsh. Dang. Like, oh, you might get it. You probably gonna get it because there's kids in here that wish they could see a dog, this and that. And I'm just like,
damn, everybody's hating you, bro.
Everybody's just hating me, you know. I'm just like, dude, like you guys acting like I killed somebody. Like, geez, like, no, I didn't even do that like that, you know, whatever. But at the same time, though, I'm trying to keep this mindset that like they call me monster, bro. Yeah. Like, you know, and I'm gonna fight regardless, you know. And so then I end up getting. I remember they end up putting me like in a super cold room, and like I have like a blanket or whatever, and I'm just laying there, and they call my mom, And according to my mom, they told her that she could come and pick me up. According to my mom, that they said that she can come and get me, but I'll have court, you know, this and that. Like I'll have court or something like that.
Yeah.
And
like you got like you can bail out or something.
Yeah, because I think it was like a misdemeanor or something like that. I don't really remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do remember my mom saying that they did mention that she could come and get me, and she told him, hell no.
Keep
him in there.
He needs to learn.
Yeah. Pretty much that's what it was. Like you need to learn.
Yeah.
And that's just according to what my mom said. I'm not too sure the facts on that. You would have to ask my mom. But but no, you know, they end up taking me to another room at this point. They like, you know, fast forward, they just take me to another cell. I keep forgetting what cell I was in. I think it might have been like some Charlie or something. I don't remember.
Yeah. And
I'm in there with some kid that's from like a whole nother city, and that's super far, and he's like really cool. In my head, I'm thinking, dang, I'm gonna get put with somebody like you know, because I heard about like the kids like getting like single cells.
Yeah.
And so, but I didn't realize what that was for. If you got a single cell, and I'll tell you about that later. Okay. But they bunked me with this kid, and he seems to be super cool. That he wanted to pray with me and everything, and I was like, oh yeah, like let's do it, you know, because I grew up in church.
Okay.
And so you know, we prayed and all that, and then they end up taking him to another cell. And another pod. Mm-hmm. He went to like a level 3, level 4 pod, and then I end up going to like another pod, and I start to see like what Juvenile Hall is really like at this point. Like
you thought, it's all just about prayers and
I thought like it was all cool, you know. But no, like there's kids in there that like the single cell kid that I remember in there. I don't remember his name, but I remember the story about this. The reason why that kid was there was because he had raped his little sister.
Jesus Christ.
And they caught him. He wasn't even from the Inland Empire. He was from OC, I believe it was. I don't remember where exactly, but he had raped his little sister, and that's why he was in there. Yeah. And I remember hearing other stories about another kid that I actually knew who got killed by a kid that was there at the same Juvenile Hall as me.
Yeah.
And I was just like, at this point, I'm like, bruh, this is starting to get crazy, because now people are like, you know, oh, I'm from so-and-so, this is where I'm from. And I'm just thinking like, I was just in a cell with a super cool kid, like super mellow, and now everybody's like really on it. And some of these kids that I was in there with weren't getting out for like another 5 years.
Yeah.
I wasn't in there for that long. I was only in there for like maybe about a month at that. Like I wasn't even in there for that long.
Yeah.
But man, like the kids in there, bro, were crazy. And they were even like running like politics type stuff. And I was just like, I don't get involved in gangs, you know, like I'm kind of like a tagger. Like I like to draw. Like at that point I was drawing and stuff like that. I wasn't from nowhere.
Yeah.
But like, you know, and I was like into like partying and party crews and stuff like that. Yeah. I was not gangbanging or nothing, you know?
Yeah.
But these kids are just like, hey, you see that kid right there? He raped his sister. If you talk to him, you're gonna get it too with him. Like I'm like, everybody's waiting for it to pop off with that kid, you know?
They let him in general population, that kid?
Yeah, but nobody really talked to him though. They I don't think they have like PC and stuff like that, and for juvenile halls, I think it's different. But that's what makes it crazy is that.
So for our audience out there that has no idea what we're talking about, so whenever someone goes to prison or to jail or juvenile hall, general population is where like you have your cell where you sleep and your stuff is at, but you're not typically in there 24/7. There's a time where you come out to. The general population with other people could kind of coexist, in general terms.
Yeah.
But there's certain criminals that are so egregious that even prisoners themselves have no respect, and it's, you know, when they say it's on site, it means as soon as you see that person, they're gonna get beat up, they're gonna get stabbed, they're gonna get handled. So typically, those are like child molesters, which they call them chomos. You know, anybody that has to do anything with like a sex crime, if you have that, like you're done.
You're in trouble.
You're in trouble. So they typically isolate these individuals, or like also if someone's like a police officer and they commit a crime and end up in jail, like you're gonna get beat, you're gonna get taken out.
Oh yeah.
So police officers, child molesters, people that do like really, really horrible stuff that even criminals will be like, man, fuck this guy, you know? They are usually isolated. So that's why I was curious, like they don't have that for juvenile.
No, because I remember like everybody was talking about, you know, how everybody was talking about how they, you know, how that kid had committed that crime. And in my head, I'm thinking, because, you know, at the time, like, I remember watching movies about, you know, like the prison system and stuff like that. And I'm like thinking in my head, like why ain't this kid in you know, I guess like isolated from the population, you know, like why isn't he like in protective custody, PC or whatever, you know? And but no, they had him in a single cell, and he was just like, I remember like he was just like, he tried to get loud with a lot of the kids, but then in reality, he already knew what was in for him if he even tried anything, you know? And I remember one time he sat next to me, and I was watching TV. I think I had just got done eating, and I was watching TV, and he sat next to me, and I was like, bro, you need to move. Like, because if I hit you, everybody's gonna hit you. You know, and then we're all going down. And but at the same time, I'm thinking like, I need to get the fuck out of here. Because I do not want to be in here. Like, this is not the place for me. You know, but it is a learning lesson. You know. So for sure.
What was? Do you think it was? What's the right word I'm thinking? Was it beneficial for you to go through that experience, or do you think? Did you learn anything from that experience? What do you take out of that?
Even though it had nothing to do with what I like to do, which was go out and party and stuff like that. It kind of when I got out, it's definitely slowed me down. And this is not because I'm on probation, because I didn't really care. You know what I mean? Whether I was on probation or not, because how would they know that I was out anywhere, you know? But it definitely like made me want to stay out the way more, because I know what can happen. You know what I mean? I know that I can get into trouble, and I have that name that at that point I had that Monster. Everybody knew who Monster was. You know, like I hate when I go places, I go to San Bernardino, somebody's like, yo, what's up, Monster? I'm like, bruh, don't call me Monster. You know, I won't say it, but it's just like, man, bro, like I wish I didn't have to live through that. But hey, you know, you live and you learn, and that's what you're on this earth for. You got to go through things in order to be somewhere or become something.
So, as far as your path to fighting and all of that, at this point, are you still competing? Did you stop fighting altogether? You know, what led you to getting back into competitive fighting?
So at this point, no, I'm not fighting. I'm fighting in the streets. You know, like me and all my friends, and you know, we're all getting into fights. You know, but at this point, I'm just kind of having fun with life, and then I end up meeting my daughter's mom. And that's where, once that happened, I slowed down just a little bit, but not like completely. You know, I was still stepping out. And stuff. Excuse me. I was still stepping out, going places. You know.
So you're how old when you meet your daughter's mother?
I met my daughter's mom at 16 years old.
And then how old was she when you guys got pregnant?
She was 19.
19?
Yeah.
Okay. And she's the same age as you?
Who? My daughter's mom?
Yeah.
No, I'm 16. She's 19.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Maybe she should be in juvie at that point. I mean, in jail.
In jail, huh? Yeah, no, huh?
That's crazy. It's crazy how it doesn't really work both ways, huh?
Yeah. You know, and you know, like I said, I'm not gonna mention no names or anything like that.
Yeah,
so,
of course.
You know.
Now I know on the I Burnt the Ships podcast,
Yes,
you went into detail about that experience of losing your daughter at such a young age. So you're 16 years old. Your girlfriend's 19. She gets pregnant.
Yes, and
you find out that your daughter is diagnosed with this condition. What is the name of the condition again?
gastroschisis.
Gastroschisis.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy because also I'm not going to put any names out there, but someone in my life that was at one point very close to me had a son that was born with the exact same condition.
Yeah.
And he passed away from it as well.
Yeah.
But he actually lived for, I believe it was like 6 to 8 months. And your daughter, how long did she live with the condition?
First, before we get started on that story, I just want to shout out to Tony because it made me feel really good to be able to share this story with the world, you know?
Yeah.
Tony Cortez, man, big shout out to him. But back to the question again. I'm so sorry, but I wanted to just to shout him out so everybody knows.
Of course. Shout out to Tony Cortez, the Conqueror. Guys, make sure you follow him. He's getting ready for his first pro fight.
Yep.
And go ahead and follow the I Burnt the Ships podcast. It is part of the Dreams to Reality Network. And we got a lot of stuff that we're going to be doing with that as well. But yeah, back to the question at hand. The situation with your daughter that passed away was how long did she survive or live with the condition?
Okay, yeah. So let's go back to that. So when we found out again, we already knew she was gonna have. She already had gastroschisis.
How long into the pregnancy was she when they told you like this is something that we found out? Is it like through what's it called? It's not X-ray when they do that little.
Oh, the OBGYN people.
What's I know, but I'm saying the procedure. It's not an X-ray. It's a damn it, I can't remember. But they put like a little ball and they see inside.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, what is it?
It's like at the tip of my tongue. I can't.
Yeah, I know.
But is that how they find out?
Yes. Okay. That is exactly how they find out.
It's not an EKG, right? No, EKG
no. Yeah, that's the heart. Dang, I keep forgetting. I'm over here online too. I wish you guys could help me out with what it is that they do. Oh, ultrasound.
Ultrasound.
There we go. Ultrasound. Yes.
Yeah. So through ultrasound
is how they found out. And I want to say we already knew we were gonna have girls, so it was already months in when we found out.
Was it a twin?
Twins.
Oh, I didn't even know it was a twin.
Yeah. So I had twins. God. Yeah. I had twins.
Mm-hmm. And so one of them had it and one of them didn't.
Yes, one of them had it, one of them didn't.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So baby A was my daughter that's still here with us.
Okay. How old is she?
And then baby B is my daughter Antoinette, and she's the one that passed away. They're 10 years old now.
10 years old. Okay.
Yes. But yeah, I remember, fast forward to the day that they were born.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned, the doctors, they did an emergency C-section, because of that reason, because of the gastroschisis.
Yeah.
My daughters are born in Riverside, California. Okay. They were supposed to be born in L.A.
Oh,
believe it or not.
It was like an emergency situation?
Yes, because my kids are preemie.
Yeah.
So that made it even worse. They didn't even go full term.
Premature?
I want to say they were supposed to be here in April. Mm-hmm. So they were about like a month.
Okay.
But I don't know how many weeks or anything like that. You know what I mean? But it definitely wasn't full term.
Yeah.
So when my daughter came out, because she came out with her small intestine outside of her body, she was only 2 pounds, I believe, and I keep forgetting how many ounces.
Yeah, so she was tiny.
Yeah, she was tiny, and they had her in the NICU. They had like some students there, and this is why I hate Kaiser in Riverside. Like I hate to say it, but I mean I do, because they had my daughter in the NICU. And they had all these students looking at my daughter. I remember, like, thinking in my head, like, aren't you guys supposed to be doing something for my daughter instead of just having her there watching all these kids that, you know, probably don't even pursue the career that they were pursuing? Just look at my kid. Like, bro, this ain't science class, bro. This is a hospital. Like, what are you guys doing? You know? And then like, oh, well, you know, we got to wait for a transport to bring her to Anaheim, Kaiser. And every time I pass that hospital, Anaheim, Kaiser, I get chills every single time. It doesn't, it never will change. It will haunt me for the rest of my life until the day that I die. I will be 99, 105 years old. And if I pass by that hospital, I will probably like break down or still get chills because I could see the window that it was like that very last window. And I remember the floor that if it's still on the same floor, but I remember just specifically looking out the window onto the 91 freeway and just like, dang, we're at the very end of the hospital, you know? And so every time I see that hospital, I always look at that window and always think about the time that I looked out of that window.
It takes you back.
It takes me back every single time. Like it will never change. Anybody that's been with me on the 91 freeway past that knows that I get chills every time. Like I'll like shiver a little bit, or they might not even notice it, but dude, I'm not even kidding. Like even by myself.
Yeah, it was a very stressful and very traumatic point in your life. And most people that go through a traumatic experience like that have a form of, you know, PTSD where, you know, they can get triggered and it could come back. And, you know, like military people, they like hear certain noises and it takes them back, and they go through that experience again. So it's a very, very real thing. You know, people, they don't think it's real sometimes. Like, you know, you got PTSD. Like, no, it's a real thing. When you go through a traumatic experience, there are certain things that will trigger a response in your body to put you back in that place, and you will feel those same feelings. You know, and it's really tough. You know, for a lot of people. And you were a kid at this time. You were 16 years old. You know, so
actually I was 17.
17.
Yes.
So I mean, I can only imagine the pain that you had to go through for that, which is why I really wanted to find out, you know, how you were able to overcome that and what happened afterwards. You know, did that affect your relationships with your spouse at the time, with your kids? How many kids do you have now?
I have 4 now.
4 kids. Is it the same?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So talk a little bit about that.
So when my daughter passed, you know, obviously you guys know the story. You know, they did the surgeries on her. They told me, you know, there's nothing we can do. I tried to give up my life for her. Couldn't do that.
Yeah.
She passes. After she passes, I can't sleep. I'm just like far gone, you know. Not only that, but I'm drained because I was just overwhelmed with all types of questions. I'm still in school, you know, so I'm just overwhelmed with that. Like, what am I going to do? You know, like, I remember posting it on my Facebook that my daughter had passed away. People still asked me questions about what happened to your kid. Like, you guys know what happened to my kid. Like, stop asking me. Yeah. And like, I remember
you posted what happened and they still would ask you?
Yeah, they would still ask me. And the relationship between me and my daughter's mom started going downhill. And you know, going through things like that creates a lot of mental trauma to the point where like you just want to be left alone, and like you don't want to go back to that place where you experienced what you went through. You know, like I say, every time I pass that I'm on the freeway, I'm on the 91, and I pass that hospital, I still get chills, or I'll get quiet. I won't say nothing until I pass it. But I remember mind you, my daughter's still a preemie. Okay, my daughters are preemies, so that means that even my other daughter was
in the hospital.
Was still in the hospital. Still, she was at the Riverside Kaiser.
Yeah,
they left her there. They went to, you know, And so after my daughter passed and stuff, and after the my daughter's funeral and everything, my baby was still at Riverside Kaiser, you know?
Yeah.
But I did not want to be there. I never wanted to go see her. I remember her mom being like, let's go.
Yeah.
And bro, honestly, like, I hope she sees this one day, because I want her to understand that, like, I was mentally gone because of what I experienced. And I never thought that I would see a kid die. I've seen videos and crazy videos of people, you know.
Yeah.
But, dude, I've never witnessed a child die. You know what I'm saying? And when you witness something like that, bro, I don't know, man. Like, it's like, bro, I would never, bro. I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't give a fuck what you done in your life. I would never wish that shit on anybody, bro, because that's the most horrible thing anyone could ever witness, is watch a child die, and there's nothing you could absolutely do for them. And bro, it fucking mentally fucked me up, because I couldn't be there, because I felt like every time I would go to that hospital, mind you, I did go to that hospital a couple of times, but there was just a point where I was like, she was like, come on, we're gonna go see the baby. And I'm just like, nah, I'm gonna stay home, because like, I could not be there. Like, I felt like I I would break, you know? And, and like, even like when I remember my daughter was already buried at this point, and I remember they brought the little we went to the funeral home, and they did like her tombstone or whatever. They had like little samples of what it would look like. Yeah. And when my daughter passed, we had her hands. You could get like their hands and feet.
Yeah, printed or whatever.
Printed, you know, on a what is that, like clay? Yeah. And I remember they brought the picture, and they were like, oh yeah, this is where we're gonna put the hands. But I remember seeing her little hands, and I just started crying. Like I just couldn't hold it in, and she was just like, relax. And I'm like, how the fuck are you supposed to relax when you don't understand? Like this is why sometimes, like, when somebody's going through something, it's hard to understand until later on when they explain to you how they felt. I was so gone.
I do have a question for you about this, because a lot of people go through not what you went through, but go through moments in their life where they're feeling similar things. Either someone in their life passed away, or they lost someone, or something really, really tragic happened. Yes. I mean, obviously there's nothing as tragic as a loss of a child, but there's different times where people going through really tough moments. Yeah. From your experience of what you went through, how would you recommend for people to help someone that's in that situation? Because I know from my own experience that most people isolate, which is what you were doing. Yeah. You wanted to stay away, and you wanted to avoid feeling those emotions again. Yeah. And I've heard different people say different things, you know, like just be there for them, listen to them, ask, like, from your experience, what do you think is the best way to go about it to help someone that's in that, you know, traumatic experience?
Yeah. Well, as being a 17-year-old, I wanted to do anything that could possibly get my mind off of it. Whether it was going to my cousin Mikey's house, or going to hang out with a buddy of ours that you know, we would hang out with all the time, and would just go out and party, or go do something that was going to get my mind off of what I had just experienced. Yeah. And that's also something that was breaking my relationship apart, because I started doing stupid things, like trying to get at her friends, or like just so many, like just all types of like things that like I would do if I was single, but I wasn't. Like it was just weird. Like I was just mentally just not there. Like I didn't care no more. I had no care in the world. I used to think like, I'm going to go out and I'm going to drink, and then I'm going to get in a fight. Like, so you were reckless. I was just trying to be reckless, or like just trying to just stay away from thinking about, you know. But what I recommend and is, of course, deal with it however way you can deal with it, but eventually talk about it.
Okay.
And speak to someone, somebody that, whether they've been through, whether they've gone through whatever it is that you've gone through, whatever, but just, or maybe they hadn't gone through whatever it is you've gone through, but just talk to someone because it'll make you feel better.
Yeah.
And for me, like me being able to share this story with everybody, the whole world, because eventually when I get to that status where I'm a pro, people are going to look back at this video and be like, damn, I didn't even know he went through that. And that's crazy. Like, look at him now. Look how happy he is.
Yeah.
Because I've gotten to share this story, because a lot of times, like, I would just, you would have to get to know me before I told you anything about it.
Yeah.
But no, it really, I know how to open up now about things.
Yeah, it's very important to not repress and suppress certain emotions.
Definitely not.
Especially really, really deep emotions like those, because what it does, and I've talked about this I have another show on my network called Open Mind Podcast, where I have a professional licensed psychotherapist, and we talk about different mental health subjects, and we've talked about anger, we've talked about depression. Our next episode is going to be on anxiety, and these are all forms of expression of something that's going on inside, you know. So you go through a traumatic experience like you did. Most people, what they will do is they will suppress those emotions. They'll push them down. And my co-host Danny says it's like a ball that you're pushing underwater. And you're pushing it down. You're suppressing it. And most people, the way that they suppress it is that, like I said, they avoid. And they also like to drown out the emotions by getting intoxicated or finding different addictions, whether it's sex addiction, alcoholism, narcotics, whatever it is, being reckless. That's just a form of suppressing and, not addressing the real root issue. At one point, if you let go, that ball's going to explode out of that water, and it's going to create havoc in your life. And like you said, deal with it the way you can to get through it. But at one point, you need to let it out. The reason why we 100%. Cry as humans is because we are letting out those emotions through the tears. But also having someone that you could confide in and talk to and let go of all these emotions is very important, So I think that was a really good tip that you gave to people. And
thank you.
At this point, like I said, like Tony says, you seem like a happy guy. You're a positive guy. You started your career in the fitness industry. So you're a trainer now at Sixth Sense, right? Sixth Sense, Sixth Sense in Ontario. So if you guys are looking for a trainer to get in the best shape of your life, whether you're just looking to look good naked, or if you're a fighter and you want to learn some skills,
let me know.
This is a guy here for you.
I'm here for you.
And like I said, I'm going to be helping you as well with your fitness business. I have a lot of experience in the fitness world. I was a sales manager, fitness manager, personal trainer for like 10 years. So I can definitely help you with the marketing and sales side of your business. And I want to see you succeed and be successful in whatever it is that you want to do.
Thank you, brother.
So right now, what are your goals as far as your career and your chosen path? You're a mixed martial artist. You're a fitness trainer. What do you want to accomplish? What are your goals?
So my goals are first and foremost, I just want to be the best dad I can be,
How old are your kids? You have the 10-year-old?
So I have 10, 4, 3, and 1.
Dang.
Yeah.
It's like do.
Yeah. After, obviously, like I said, you go through life, bro. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? People look at it like, people think about Nick Cannon. They're like, oh, he got like 11 kids. It doesn't, none of that matters. There's families out there that got, like, I'm like, hey, how many uncles and aunts you got? I got like 5 uncles and 7 aunts. And I'm like, exactly. Your family had a gang of kids. Like, that don't mean nothing, but scratch all that. I just, you live life, and I've gone through whatever it is I've gone through. You go through things, and you meet people, you have kids. Cool, it is what it is. You make like my mom always said, you made your bed, you lay in that shit.
Yeah.
And which I did, and I just want to be the best dad that I can be. That's my main goal. I want to make sure that my kids are comfortable, and I'm gonna do that by going pro. Okay. And that's always been my dream. I've always wanted to be a pro fighter.
Yeah.
That, my coaches would tell you, Kung Lee, Coach Allen, Ant Dog from Ant Dog's MMA, Anthony Figueroa.
Yeah.
All those guys, they'll all tell you that, Rudy's was bad when he was a kid. He was tight, and we all knew that he had a good future ahead of him, but, obviously I let life get to me, but I wasn't going to let that stop me. Yeah. I am going to be a pro. It's not I want to be. I am going to be a pro, and that's my main goal. I just want to be able to be successful, not comfortable, because I want my kids to be able to be comfortable. Yeah. I'm never going to settle. I'm going to keep on going and going and going and making sure that my kids are good until I'm not on this earth no more. Then one of my comfortable kids is going to start becoming successful and start doing their thing, making sure that they're good. Yeah. That's my main goal. I just want to be able to leave this earth and knowing that nobody can throw dirt on me anymore.
Yeah. That's great, man. I know right now you're fighting with Star Promotions. Mm-hmm. It's an amateur promotion out of California that's breeding some of the best fighters in the world.
Yes.
That's where Tony came out of, and he just went pro.
Yep.
I know you've been training with him, and he speaks very highly of you.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited to see your career grow in the MMA world. And
thank you, brother.
We'll definitely have you back on as you grow in your career. You become a professional MMA fighter.
Yeah.
And, I want to thank you again for coming on the show and sharing your story. And I know a lot of people will be able to connect with the things that you're sharing. Because at the end of the day, I think most people want what you want, which is I just want to be a good father, a good mother, a good son, a good whatever it is. And then whatever path that you choose, I don't care what it is. It could be podcasting. It could be MMA. It could be fitness. It could be real estate, it could be nails, it could be hair, it could be freaking BBLs, whatever the hell you want to do.
Whatever you want to do.
Stripper. Be the best at that shit. Every day, learn new skills that are going to make you the best in that field. And the beauty about finding a passion, finding something that you want to pursue, is that there is always something new to learn. Everything's always evolving. I don't care what you do. Like we talked about Kung Lee and Chuck Norris. Look at how much MMA has evolved in the last couple of years. It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
There's like there's even specific sports within MMA, like if you do jujitsu. Dude, there's I had this young girl, her name's Elena Kravar. She's a 16-year-old BJJ prodigy, and she's just beating the shit out of everybody left and right. And she's 16 years old, and she does some crazy ass stuff that I'm like, damn, it's crazy. There's I play guitar, I'm a musician. I see little kids on YouTube that are 5 years old doing some shit. I'm like, Jesus Christ, they're freaking amazing. Music evolves, fighting evolves, business evolves, everything evolves. And the great thing is that no matter who you are, you have your own personality, you have your own identity. And as long as you're authentic in your beliefs and what you do, and you try your best to become the best, you'll be able to live a fulfilling life. And
100%.
It'll take away a lot of that freaking anxiety and all that other stuff that people deal with. It'll take it away because you're so focused on being the best at that one thing.
And going back to what we were talking about, dealing with trauma or whatever. Find something that you love to do. And try to just set yourself free, because some people find, getting away by getting high. For getting high on hardcore drugs, we're talking about.
It's an escape.
It's an escape, exactly. But rather than doing something like that, I believe you should just try to find a hobby, and just something that can just set you free without being high. You know what I'm saying? Get that, just anything that you can do to get that trauma out your mind. Do it. Regardless of what it is. Don't do nothing bad. Don't do nothing stupid. But just, try to find something that's going to help you get away from whatever it is that you're thinking. Because that's one thing about me is I think a lot. And when I start to think a lot, I'm like, I got to do something. Because if not, like, I will literally, like, just eat myself away. Yeah. And I start to like be like real pessimistic if I'm saying that word.
Yeah, it's correct. Pessimistic. Most people by nature, tend to look towards the darkness instead of looking towards the light. Yeah. Most people are more pessimistic than positive, more negative than positive. Mm-hmm. Like, you do 10 great things, but you do one bad thing, people remember the bad thing. They don't remember the 10 great things. And that's human nature. So it's a constant battle. And I tell people is like having a positive mindset is like showering. You got to do it every fucking day. It's not like, oh, I showered 2 years ago. Like, I'm clean. Like, no, you're not. You're dirty as shit. Like, I thought positively a year ago, but I think negatively, 99.9% of the day. Yeah. It's a battle, and I call it the battle between, shit. Give me a second. Again? Yeah. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties, people. Yeah. I call it the battle between a good and bad, darkness and light. Yeah. Good and evil. Good and evil is your thought process. Yeah. I think heaven and hell is here on earth. You can create your own hell very, very easily. It's actually pretty freaking easy to create your own hell. Yeah. No doubt. You can also create your own heaven. It's a lot harder to do that. Like I said, it's a daily battle. Yeah. And it's all internal. It's all in your mindset, your thought process, and your daily activity. Yes. So, like you said, find something that you're passionate about, pursue it, do your best to become the best at it, and have a positive mindset. So I think those are all great tools. So again, brother, I really want to thank you for coming on the show. Man. Thank you. Everybody out there, make sure to follow Rudy on his Instagram. What's your IG handle?
My my IG handle is Supreme Rudy MMA, and that's you can find me there anytime, any day.
If you are in the Inland Empire and are looking for an amazing gym and an amazing fitness trainer, make sure you contact Rudy on his IG and he will get you on point. Guys, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit that like, leave us a comment, any questions or input you put out there. We really appreciate it. And we'll see you guys next time.